What is up? It's me here for Troubleshooter, and welcome back to another video. So recently I was thinking, what if I did a tier list where I ranked the brawlers based off of how good they would be in different scenarios? But for today I want to take it one step further, because I think I have found the perfect scenario. The question for today is, which are the 10 best brawlers to fight in a game of Solo Showdown? If you don't know, Solo Showdown is a game mode that can be played once per day, where you pick one brawler and try to get as many wins as possible. She can fit a ton of different gadgets and star powers that make her even stronger. She is a tank who is supposed to be a support, and this works out very well for her in Solo Showdown. While her damage output isn't that high, she can heal herself and her teammates with absolutely no setup. While El Primo might not have the highest health stat in the game, he has plenty of tools to sustain himself and a powerful attack to take down any foe. He's very strong and has a very high skill ceiling. His main strength is his mobility. He's able to dash around the stage very quickly and catch opponents off guard. This makes it really hard to kite him and forces the opponent to stay in melee range, which is exactly what he wants. He's incredibly mobile and has a very strong offensive kit that can catch opponents off guard. His main strength is his stealth ability, which makes him very hard to hit and allows him to initiate fights on his terms. Also, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, then consider subscribing. But that's all I have for you.
Thank y'all for watching.
I'll see you all next time. Peace. If he plays correctly, then he can easily dodge all of your attacks and then punish you with a powerful melee combo. And if you didn't know, Leon's second gadget is brand new, and it's called Feline Agility. This increases his stealth duration by a whole second and allows him to become invisible when using his super. So this guy is very hard to go up against, and if you don't play patiently, then you're going to get punished. With enough practice, you can easily chain his abilities together and in one combo. Dash, attack, and then super. I don't think there's any doubt that Fang is the best brawler in the game. And for proof, you just need to look at his win rate. For Solo Showdown specifically, Fang has a 61.8% win rate, which is the highest out of any brawler. This shows that he's incredibly strong in this game mode, and I don't think anyone can argue that. He's the fastest brawler in the game and has the most mobility, can easily chase down opponents or run away from threats, and his poison also forces the opponent to constantly heal, which wastes their time and their resources. That's why Fang is No. 1. And this does a ton of damage. But the reason why he's only at number 5 is because if you miss any part of this combo, then you can easily lose the fight. Also, there are a lot of brawlers that can force you out of your comfort zone and break your combo. His super is one of the easiest to use in the game, and he can chain it infinitely. She doesn't require that much setup to get value out of her turrets, and she has multiple options when it comes to taking down an opponent. He's able to hold his own early game and then scale into a monster later on. His super is one of the most fun to use in the game, and his design and animations are just too good. His only weakness is probably his crowd control. If there's ever more than 2 enemies in front of him, then he loses his advantage of having such a high health pool and powerful attacks. But in a one-on-one scenario, he's going to win more often than not. She can either spam her turret continuously and hope they walk into it, or she can place a turret behind her and use it for safety while walking up to the enemy and using her super. She also has a gadget called Cat Paws that lets her throw a bunch of little cat plushes that apply a weaken effect. This is great because it can set up kills for her and her allies. And it can also save her life if she is trying to walk out an ultimate. And finally, her star powers are also very strong. She can increase the amount of health her turret has with Iron Will, or she can increase the damage with Sharpshooter. All you need is one cactus, and then you can spam that super for the rest of the match. He also has powerful gadgets and star powers, and the best one in my opinion is Barrel Roll. This allows him to make his super last longer when he runs out of ammo, which means he can survive much easier and still do a lot of damage. She just needs to walk up to them and use her ability. She also has a very strong ultimate called Buzz, and it's able to hit multiple targets at once. So if you get 2 or more enemies grouped together, then it can be a game changer. She's not amazing at taking damage, but being a tank with access to free heals is pretty nice. Her turrets are extremely strong and can push enemies away from you. And her ultimate is basically a guaranteed stun on most brawlers. Sandy might be the most unique brawler on this list, since his kit revolves around building these little walls that block damage and allow you to safely walk through them. He's mainly used for zoning and protecting yourself. But he actually has some pretty decent damage for a support, and his ultimate knocks back enemies and damages them over time. His biggest strength is definitely his versatility though. Since he can place his walls anywhere, he's able to adapt to any situation and deal with any enemy that comes his way. In the right matchup, Piper can bully almost anybody, and if you build her correctly, you can just sit back and spam your turret while healing and avoid taking damage. You gain trophies based off of your performance, and there's a matchmaking system. So the more wins you get, the tougher the AI will become. He's got a super strong melee attack, and his super is arguably one of the best in the entire game. If he hits a wall and does his super correctly, he can stun literally any brawler for a full 3 seconds. That is huge and can easily turn the tide of battle. However, his main weakness is that he's very slow. Even with rocket boots, he doesn't really get around all that fast in a one-on-one situation. You could easily kite him around the stage. So what makes him good is that he can kill certain brawlers really fast, before they can do anything to you. But if you can survive those first few seconds and get some chip damage on him, then he's probably going to lose. This isn't like normal showdown where you can bring a full team of 5 brawlers and go against other people. No, this is one-on-one where you have to survive as long as possible while trying to defeat your opponent. And at the end of the day, there are multiple difficulties in every 3 minutes or so. You have a chance to surrender for an even better reward. Of course, you don't have to surrender. You can see what your opponent has and try to defeat them. But surrendering is by far the smarter option most of the time. And with all that in mind, let's begin. Coming in at number 10 is Jean. Now, Jean is definitely a brawler that can put up some big damage. Now, at no 9, we have Piper. Piper is one of the strongest long-range brawlers in the entire game. Next up at no 8 is B. B is a very strange brawler. At no 7, we have Sandy, coming in at no 6 is El Primo. Next up at no 5 is Mortis. Mortis is one of the most famous brawlers in the game, and for good reason. And at no 4, we have Penny. Penny is one of the strongest long-range brawlers in the game, and she's pretty easy to use as well. At no 3, we have Dynamite. Mike is one of the best rushers in the game due to his incredible health and damage. Next up at no 2 is Leon. Leon is a brawler with a lot of tools that can play into his favor. Finally, we have reached the top spot, and it should come as no surprise that the best brawler for solo showdown is Fang. But now, I want to hear from you guys. Do you agree with the list? And if not, then what would you change and why?